Well, it's like old times again here. It's great. I don't know if you all know, but right here was one of the very first stops that I made on my campaign for governor way back in 2002. So it actually has got a very nice feeling to be back here again with you all. And thank you all for coming out on this rainy Saturday. Jordan, thank you very much for the introduction and for the great job that you do. And Mary, I thought your message was right on target to all of us Democrats, and I know to all the candidates who are running at this time, but especially I guess to Carl Dean and Craig Fitzhugh who are here, who are running for the office I used to hold. Look forward to being with you all on the campaign trail and working together. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'd like to say three things though about what we need in this race. I'll be honest, I had never, back in October, running for office again in this lifetime was the furthest thing from my mind. It was a long way down the list of things that I was thinking of doing. And then things started happening. I'd been getting more and more upset with what was going on in Washington over the years. Senator Corker said he was not going to run for re-election. We'll see if that holds up or not here in the next couple of weeks, I guess. And people started calling me. People like the people in this room, just from around the state, and saying, "Look, you really ought to think about this and consider it." And Andrea and I sat down and talked about it a lot because it's obviously a big undertaking, and I thought I'd retired from the field. But what's worked for me in my life has always been to just sort of see a problem, just go dive in and roll your sleeves up and try to do something about it. And when we have this problem with what politics has become in this country, what it's become in Washington, and the case that I'm working on, you just can't sit by and watch it happen. And we just said, look, we can either sit on the sidelines here and complain about what's going on, or we can sort of hop into the fray and roll our sleeves up and try to do what I've always done and try to solve a problem here. And so I did some research. Obviously, I don't go diving into things. I'm not interested in suicide missions at this point in life. Found out actually that there's a lot of reasons why it really is absolutely possible and even probable that some good Democrats, can be elected in this cycle. The wind is at our back, certainly. I don't think things are going to get any better in Washington over the course of the next few months here. And I really believe that having here in Tennessee a really viable two-party system where you've got ideas from both sides and both parties that sometimes got to work together to get things done instead of these super majorities of Republicans is a really healthy thing to have happen, and something I'd like to try to help make that work. I think we Democrats are at our best when we're a muscular muscular party that is, that's really focused on what people are concerned about trying to help people who are middle class or working class, blue collar people, to help them find the opportunity and to succeed in doing the things that they want to do in life for themselves and for their families and their children. And I think if we can just keep staying focused on that need, those are the people who I think felt sometimes we weren't addressing their needs and go off and find someone like the current president to vote for. I think if we stay focused on what your neighbors really want, and how we are in practical terms going to help deliver that to them and present the kind of opportunity for them this country has been known for, I think we will do just fine. The other thing that I found, both in doing some research and just in talking with people now around the state, is that people really do, no matter where you are in the political spectrum, people really want to get beyond this standing on opposite sides of the room and shouting at each other, and just find some ways to move the ball down the field. There are so many issues out there, and I don't think anybody, people feel you don't have to have everything. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. We can find ways to find compromises and get things done and move it. And whether you're a super conservative, strong supporter of the president, or a super liberal on the other side of the spectrum, or all in between where everyone is, that seems to be universal. People are really hungering for that. And I can tell you in Washington, they're not getting it. I mean, just look at this last week and the stuff that's gone on and things that ought to be fairly easy, and they can't even move the ball down the field on those. So one of the things I want to do, if you remember when I was governor, I worked really hard to try and make sure that things we accomplished had some people from both sides on it, that we get nice, good majorities out of the Democrats and good majorities out of the Republicans to support the important legislation, because then I think it's got staying power. It's smart legislation, and we need to be able to do that. That's one of the things that I want to take to Washington. Another one, it just has to do with health care. It is such a huge issue in this country. Everywhere that I go in Tennessee, it tops the list of things that people want to talk about, which they identify as problems. And there are a lot of practical things that can be done without getting off into all the ideological arguments. I remember back during the Affordable Care Act discussions, there were 4 governors who were appointed by the NGA, the National Governors Association, to try to work with the Congress about what would work in the states. 2 of them were Democrats. I was one of the Democrats. 2 of them were Republicans. And the thing that struck us, one of those Republicans was pretty darn conservative. He's a United States Senator now from South Dakota. We'd sit down at lunch afterwards, and there were 20 things we could agree on that would move the ball forward, that would really help some people, that would help contain the cost of health care to people. And it just takes, I think, a willingness to work together to make some of those things happen, and that's what I would like to very much to bring. We're Democrats in this room. Let me just talk 1 second to practicalities here. I'm here, obviously, because I need you. This cannot be done without a really strong turnout from Democrats, and add to that some of the independents and even maybe a few disgruntled Republicans over there. We can put together a winning coalition. But this is a time when I think Democrats have really got to step out and do the hard work that it takes of getting on the phone and knocking on doors and helping raise money and all the stuff that it takes to do that. We have good tickets, I think, from top to bottom. One of the advantages of a Senate race like this is there will be a lot of money spent from the outside on voter turnout. That'll help me, obviously. It also helps people up and down the ticket to have that happen. As one of the benefits I think I can help bring to the entire Democratic ticket as it goes through the months ahead. I want to just close by saying thanks for having me here. I think we've got some great people on the ticket. All of us need your help. This is the kind of thing that if you have this grassroots energy and effort and people willing to do the kind of work, I think we can once again reestablish a really working, healthy two-party system in this state and put some of the really fine Democratic candidates that we have into the kind of positions where they can help the people that they really want to help and that really need it as well. Thank you all very, very much.